Okay, let's move on with part two. Take it away, Tate.
Bristol was at the centre of a national campaign against badger culling this weekend. The protest was the 27th of its kind and was the first one that BBC wildlife expert Chris Packham attended. Megan Fisher has more.
I think because Chris Packham is a sort of major wildlife figure, I think he needs maybe to come a little bit further up that link. But it's good that you've got Winchester in, and then maybe you can personalise it because he is a known person in the business. Okay? Now, what I like actually about a lot of the work this week is that you've got Nat Sott at the top, and it just gives a real flavour of what's going on. So well done for that, Megan.
Hundreds of campaigners stormed Winchester this weekend.
Did they storm Winchester? I mean, storming is a bit more used for riots. I think he maybe over-exaggerated it, and storming has a slightly pejorative meaning to it, I think, in this instance. So I think you just got to be careful with your language here.
National Wildlife Protest. This is the second year of badger culls in a 4-year project set out by the Environment Secretary.
Now that's really good because that you've just explained the story in one sentence. So very well done for getting the background in here. And this is a really good piece to camera in that you are in amongst it. And well done for doing a walking, talking and in with the demonstrators, protesters type piece to camera. Not quite sure about the words because we can see what they're doing. We can see that they're carrying placards, but I understand what it's like when you sort of want to get into this story, and it's good to see you as part of it. That's a really good gimmick to use. Just be careful when you do get there what words you use, because I think these are a bit bland because we've seen everything that you're just saying.
With picket signs, badger costumes and leaflets to raise awareness against badger culling.
And I think if I'm being really picky, there's a little pause in there, like you're not quite sure what you're going to say. So do it again. Literally just carry on walking. Whoever's holding the camera, just say, keep rolling, I'll do it again. Because it's only a 8-10 second piece to camera.
Protesters questioned the need for the culls and their humaneness.
That's quite a sophisticated edit, even though you've taken that bloke. You've done well on the sound edit, and I appreciate what you've done there. But it is a slight jump cut from where he was to where he is now. But a really good effort to try and put those two pictures together.
All round, the badger cull is a disaster. And to cause suffering, needless suffering, is abhorrent, which is beyond a pale, isn't it? This cull's still taking place. It's equally as invalid now as it was 6 months, as it was a year.
Where's the sound on that? We see on the previous shot there was sound. You need low-lying sound there. That's a really well-framed shot, though. That's really nice, and you've obviously done it at length, and you've got the blurred background. So well done for that, because that just looks like a classy shot.
Badger Trust CEO shared his concerns about how the cull was being carried out.
Again, you've got two shots there, which is nice. You've used a wide and a tight, and he looks really animated. And again, you've got the long-range view, so you've got the background blurred. What I would say is, you say the Badger, whatever it is, CEO. I don't think we ever are that specific. We've just got to say about maybe this body or those against the culling, whatever it might be, rather than the Badger, whatever it is, CEO. That's not quite right. So I leave it a little bit more generic than that, because your caption, which is just about to come up, your Aston, is just about to reveal who he is.
The shooting process that they've gone forward with is very cruel and very ineffective. So we're telling the government that there is no justification for going on with this policy. It must stop now.
Yeah, the Badger Trust, which campaigns to save badgers, blah 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 blah, is against it, or using the same words that you used. I think that's the sort of line you should be taking.
Protesters felt strongly about the badger culls.
I think it's an absolute disgrace and atrocity. It should never have started. It should never carry on.
I mean, that's a really good grab. I mean, it's perfect. She looks ridiculous, dressed as a badger, but it totally tells the point. So well done.
Sea badgers are being killed and blamed for something they cannot prove they are responsible for, which is bovine TB.
DEFRA told Winol, England has the highest incidence of bovine TB in Europe, and this is threatening the future of our beef and dairy.
What I didn't quite understand, well, there are two things. Again, this is a really dull one. This one's white on black, and I'm suggesting that Callum really has had a week off and hasn't been able to do anything. He must have been very, very busy, because this is, very dull. It needs something in behind it, shot of a blurred out badger or whatever it might be. And I'm not quite sure why you didn't read all this bit here, because it's just a little bit confusing for the viewer when only half of it is there.
Nothing is not an option. Campaigners will continue to lobby MPs before the general election, with the next march in Birmingham in 2015. Megan Fisher, Winchester News Online.
But really well done. I mean, there's a good range of pictures here. I think what you've done, Megan, is tell a whole story from start to finish. You've interviewed the right people. You got 3 good grabs in there and a piece to camera that nearly works, but all the effort is there. I think your voice is getting much better. It's more level and less pitchy. And yeah, you've got some good Nat Sot in there as well. So a really good effort on that package.
Winchester News Online has won yet another award in the latest BJTC honours.
What is the BJTC to anyone apart from us? So we need to say what that is.
Newsday of the Year for the 3rd time in a row. The prestigious award ceremony was hosted by Birmingham City University, and our producer Nicole Collis picked up the fantastic award.
I just wonder if the previous shot is the best shot that we've got about the awards ceremony. But I have to say, this news belt is really good. This is the first news belt that actually works. There are 3 really good stories here, and obviously this is the best one. But there are 2 other really good stories, well told. So it's a proper belt, this.
2 men have been arrested after a tobacco factory was discovered in an industrial unit in Bishop's Waltham. Up to £300,000 worth of hand-rolling tobacco and processing machinery was recovered by custom officers. Investigations.
That's a good story. Okay, we've still got, it's a series of stills, which is a bit disappointing. And I think on this shot, you've got to start with I think it's probably what turns out to be your end shot. You've got to show the big bang, because that could be anywhere. But when you show the wide shot of all the explosion, then it's definitely what this story is all about, and people will remember it from seeing that wide shot of the sort of house blown apart.
Still underway at the scene of last week's gas explosion in Shirley,
See,
Southampton.
still not
The
sure.
house was completely destroyed and another severely.
There we go. Ah, I remember that. Yeah. Do you remember last week that house got blown up? So, well written, but think about that picture first.
Meanwhile, a petition asking for a fixed tunnel link between the Isle of Wight and the UK has been granted by the government. The petition comes after years of controversy getting on and off the island, with traffic issues, expensive ticket prices, and a recent accident on the Wight Link ferry in July. Josh Behrens has this report.
Yeah, it's a good link. That's told the story. So, and the reason behind people wanting it. So well done from that point of view. Josh, you've got to slow down your voice again. We're going to work on that. You still tell a really good story, and I like it, but you have to slow down when you're doing your voiceover. Again, perfect start. Really nice shot, good sound, strong opening.
On Friday, the Isle of Wight County Press published a poll asking islanders their opinion on a bridge or tunnel connecting them to the mainland, an idea that's been debated for generations, which for the first time saw a majority of residents favourable to the plan. In an interview with the Daily Echo, Chancellor George Osborne pledged to support a possible fixed link, but only if it is wanted by the islanders. Supporters of the project argue that there is growing public demand to cut travel times across the Solent.
It's a football that's been kicked around quite a while over the island, which gained momentum because the ferry companies don't seem to be listening to the locals. It's the gift of
That, even though you're covering a shot here, it's too similar to where you've got him, so it actually looks like a jump cut. It's almost the same size shot, He's still sitting in that chair and suddenly he moves like that. So you've got to find a different angle. Maybe shoot it from over here if you want to get him, or you change the size of the shot, because otherwise it's just too similar to what you've got already, and then it becomes a jump cut.
A phrase I've heard used. Let me give you an example. This time of year, I go on the Argos website to buy things for Christmas, okay? And it will say, in stock at your nearest Argos, which is Gosport, across a load of water that will take me 2 ferry journeys, and it will take at least an hour and a half.
Those shots were brilliant. You're on the deck. You could have milked those a whole lot more, I think. I mean, they're great. That's what it's all about, the Isle of Wight ferry. And those are really nice shots. Good access. Well done.
4.2 miles, an hour and a half is probably one of the slowest journeys in Europe.
The book campaign said there were assurances from the Isle of Wight Conservative MP Andrew Turner. I think that's the residents are interested. A referendum on the subject could take place.
Opponents of the
Again, you've got troubles with your sound there, Josh, and it's really bad. And obviously it's very windy and you've tried to shelter yourself. But if it's that bad, you need to go back and listen to what you've done and then see if it's okay or not. And in that case, it's not.
such as Councillor Henshaw, are concerned that the benefits of such a scheme are overstated for the islanders.
That's fine to use him in shot. If you haven't got a setup shot of him, you can use him just gold fishing and then bring up the SOT when you've finished. But again, you've introduced him by name before he's arrived. You don't need that. You could say, but some councillors are unsure whether this idea will stick or whether it's a good idea, whatever it might be. And then we can find out who he is.
The benefits have been overstated just to get the thing built, and then what's happened after that, the problems have surfaced.
An online survey will be launched next year to confirm residents' views in anticipation of a possible future referendum. Josh Barons, Winchester News Online.
Well done for the shots, though. I mean, it's really good. It's nice. It really lives, and we're in somewhere completely different. And from that point of view, you've really told a story, and you've given both sides. What I think it does lack is some vox pops. I think we need to know from general members of the public whether they want one or not. People who are on there in their cars, going on the ferry. Do you want it? Don't you want it? I think even door knocking to people's houses to say, do you want this link or not, would have given us a feel of islanders rather than just the one bloke.
Winchester's one-way driving system is now out of date, according to a former highway and transport engineer.
That's, a strong start. That tells us a news line.
Has accepted new plans to review the driving system after residents and local councillors identified its problems. Laura Harding has more.
I really like this start, Laura, because you've thought about what can I do, and just by speeding it up, it's very simple technique, but very well done.
Unfit for the 21st century.
And that's a good opening line too. So we've had some very strong opening link line and opening package line.
These were the words used to describe Winchester's one-way driving system, which is set to be reviewed for improvements.
The system can...
Another good technique there, you've started walking before you've started talking. That might sound a little bit simple, but if you stand there and then start talking and then suddenly start walking, it looks daft. So you've done it absolutely right.
Contributing to air pollution and congestion within the city centre, as cars have to take longer routes around the city when they could be driving straight through it.
Good line. Okay, that's a good piece, really good, strong piece to camera. What is about to come is very, very annoying.
People need to travel in an area and they feel they're travelling.
What is this? We cannot afford to have spelling mistakes. Now this is checked before it goes through the gallery. It should be checked in the edit suite, and it should be checked as it goes on air. And it's got past every checking system that we've got. So that is bad news. We have spelt environment right. I suppose that's better news.
considerably further than they need to get to their destination because they're going around a one-way system, then clearly there's an issue there. So I think there are probably quite a few people who would rather Friarsgate and possibly North Wales went back to being two-way.
Mike Slade is a resident of 33 years who recently spoke at a town forum regarding the situation and how it could be improved.
See, that's a radio link. Very, very definitely a radio link, and a technique we wouldn't use at all in telly. It's just not designed for telly at all. You need a shot of him. What I've noticed here is there's no voiceover back in an edit suite. It is all done through your pieces to camera. Now, I don't mind necessarily that your voices comes from where you are in situ, but don't use this technique. What you need to do is have set up shots of the guy in question and then lead in that way rather than you leading into him. Fine for radio, not for telly.
The one-way system forces people to travel longer to get to where they want to. And not only that, it means that the buses also have a lot of dead mileage, so they're travelling over sections like North Wales where they don't really need to go. They should be going through the city centre.
For now, the plans seem to have a handbrake on them. Laura Harding, Winchester News Online.
Okay, we'll just stop there because I'm not sure if this is recording anymore. So we'll come back a little bit later for the next one.